So we
Yeah.
had a session just now. So let's just go ahead without wasting any time. We are going to have a APM, and we are also going to solve a problem where we'll try doing a parallel execution. So let's just dig deeper into that. I hope my screen is visible to everyone. Yes. So we are going to talk about a tool today. Like Bridge explained us a lot and tremendous information he gave us about the automation. We are going to choose APM for today. So it's just a little about us. So like I already gave my introduction. I'm Devyani. I'm working with ThoughtWorks as a QA. I have a Sonali with me. So yeah, Sonali, over to you.
Hey, hi everyone. So this is Sonali here, and I'm also working as lead consultant, quality analyst in ThoughtWorks. I'm having around 12 years of experience into testing. That's what I Thank you.
Cool. So let's just go through a little about what can we expect today. So we are going to talk about the APM, its architecture. We're also going to see a basic framework setup so that we all will be on the same page to understand how things are going to work. We are going to talk about the locator strategy with whatever use case we have and learning we have about specific things. We'll talk about advanced thing, which is a parallel text execution across geographic regions. We'll go through the demo. Meanwhile, whenever you have a question, you can keep on putting that into the chat. We'll take it up. And any which ways, after we solutionize everything, we have planned to have Q&A again. So let's just talk about the APM architecture here to understand a better way. So we always have a machine, we have an APM server there, and we have a devices as well, right? So let's just understand from the architecture point of view how it works. So client will always send commands to APM server via JSON wire protocol, right? It's via API it goes, the commands will go. When it sends the command, it sends the configuration, whatever it requires, and capabilities of the device, whatever it requires to the APM server. APM server will take the request, it will process the request, and it will try checking if that same capabilities and configuration it is able to have that onto the device. If it is successful, it will create a session. So it usually connects with UI Automator for Android, which is via which your commands will flow. For iOS, it is UI automation. Via that, your commands will flow to iOS. When APM server is sending continuously commands, which UI Automator, UI automation will process the commands into the respective iOS and Android device, and then it will send that response back to APM server. And via APM server, your client will again get the response. Like all of us know that APM is open source tool and it can be used for any type of application. You can do native, hybrid application, web apps, whatever requirement you have, you can use this APM server for that. With that, I'm just moving ahead with another section. But if you have any question, please put that into the chat. So let's talk about a sample test scenario we are going to take today. So all of us will get a glimpse of it. So we are going to use HMA VPN. You'll get to hear more about HMA VPN when we will go to the parallel execution. We are going to launch one of the web application into the Chrome browser, and then we are going to validate its time and date as per that region. So in order to just show the sample application to you, so to my right, you already see that there is one application, time and date, and it shows, it is of Germany, and whatever day and date it has, it shows all of the details. Via automation, we are going to see those on. Then next section for us is we are going to have a glimpse of the basic test automation framework. So all of us will understand what all capabilities and things our framework has and how it can be extendable to the respective thing. And after that, we are going to go for a demo. Cool. So I will just show a basic framework structure which we have for today. We have used the APM. We have used Java as a language with us. We are using test engine as a runner, and we have followed page object model as a design pattern. So on my left, if you see, we have all of the tests and pages are segregated. So when I'm writing a test and whatever locators or actions I need, I have kept it into a separate pages. Whatever are the common steps for me, like I'm opening my APM programmatically, right? I'm not really opening it manually. Let's take example, you are into a CI/CD pipeline and you are running the e-tool. you can't really have your APM running manually onto the machines on the servers, right? So you have to pass your APM via programmatically to run for the machines. Similarly, whatever capabilities we want to set for the device, right? We tried passing it via base page because it is common to the method. Then whatever launch browser and connection to VPN is happening, right? All of those common methods where you are launching the driver, starting the driver, quitting the driver, right? All of those we kept it into the base page, and because this base page can be accessible by any of the other page, right? It can be inherited by any of the other page, and that is how we want to just reuse all of the stuff we have. We have added extend reports. So whenever we are running the test, we are going to see how it works as well. So we'll talk more over when we go to that. We have added the logs. So we all know, right? Whenever it comes to debugging or trying to understand what is the problem into that particular system, we always go through the logs from debugging point of view, a flow understanding point of view, right? So similarly, we tried having that in this framework. So without delay, we are also going to talk about a basic test. Like I said, I'm going to run my test on my real device. So I have already connected it. I'm going to test it for Germany, like I showed it on the UI, and we are going to see now how it works and how it opens the application. And we are also going to talk about the reports then, right? So without any delay, I'm running the test script here. I have my mobile application also shared. So I hope everyone can see it. So like I said, we are starting our server programmatically here. So just to even see a logs into a detail, I'm just popping up the screen here for all of us. So you see already it had opened the HMA VPN for me, though I'm running just for my script, but I'm based out of India. And I am running this for this particular script for the Germany, right? So it is making that configuration. We are going to hear more about it into a detail when we actually go to the parallel execution. So all of us, we can just hold our breath and just wait for that to happen. Like I explained, we are opening everything via programmatically. So APM server is already started for us on this particular port. And you see this VPN is also on where it says that you are in Germany now. So based on that, if you see it is opting out the IP and whatever details it requires. Now it comes to the execution part, because now my port is already allocated to one of the system. My script has to be ran on somewhere. So it is again taking another port of APM programmatically again, and we are going to see what this script does next for us. So like I said, it is going to be a web app for us. It is a browser compatible application. So it already hit the link for us into the mobile, and now our script has already ran. It just went back and it just checked the whatever timing we have. Like I said, we have added the logs here. If someone is thinking that what about my APM server logs, right? How it works? Is there any problem? How things are there, right? So from that point of view as well, we can always extend the logs and add those logs and get use of those particular things. So even just to give you a basic example, right? APM server logs also we can see it will show, like I said, from the architecture point of view, what all desired capabilities it is sending to APM, then what all Chrome capabilities it will need. We are sending everything programmatically like I showed into the base page. It will just keep on flowing the commands for us, and whoever faces the issue, script is failing or whatnot, they can definitely also check a server logs here, like we usually do it in general when your APM server is on, right? We usually have logs into the server. Similarly, we try capturing everything here to get debug usage and advantage of that particular thing. We just now ran one test script. We all know there could be a lot of test scripts, a lot of different combinations happening. How we would know what all things already ran, what all things already pending, right? We always get use of these reports to get the overall look on the particular script. So like you see here, I ran it for the Germany. So it says I ran it on the Germany. If someone is interested to see some other way of UI representation, we also have it, that one test case we ran, it is passed. I ran it on Android. I use browser as a Chrome. So we are even popping up all the information. So if in future we go for any other combination, we will get this advantage of just having a look on the report and doing that debugging and stuff there. So that is how this basic framework is already planned for us. So I hope everything looks good. If not, like I said, you can keep on adding the questions for us into the chat and we'll respond back. So let's just go ahead to the next section where we are talking about the locator strategy. All of us already must be working on the web application. We know, like, how to find the locators, XPath, IDs and whatnot. Similarly, it goes for the locator strategy. What we say is, when you open the Appium and you inspect any element there, right? This is how the UI will look to you. And you go for element which is faster and reliable. And that is what this example says. I'm a ID, I get rendered in 241 milliseconds. I'm a XPath, I get rendered in 350. Also, this says, right, certain elements might only be accessible after switching to certain things. So every other application with the guidelines and with the coding setup done, they'll always have their own conditions. But what we always do, or what always works for us, is having that locator which is faster enough to render the element. So in my case, when I see ID and XPath, I see ID is reliable because this is not something which will keep on changing. It's not a dynamic for me. And when I'm running my script, it is just getting rendered in 241 milliseconds. It matters, though 350 milliseconds and 241 milliseconds might not show a huge gap to us as of today. But when we talk about the framework, there are a lot of test cases running in. Sometimes we run the test cases on the cloud provider like Source Labs, browser stack, and so on. We already know they have they take some time to make a connection, find the device, then run it. So we have to make sure, me being a QA, when I write something, my locator should be reliable, because XPath, all of us know that based on the DOM, it keeps on changing if something gets new added. You can definitely say that relative or absolute, can I still go for that kind of XPath? But still, it matters how much time it takes for you to render the element, because it's whole application you have to automate. With that, we are going to take a real-time use case which we came across in our project. That our project was a React Native application, and we were trying to find what is my locator strategy, what I should add there, right? I'm using CSS selectors to find the element. We faced one issue. In Android, we used to set accessibility labels. In iOS, we used to set test IDs. So whenever you have some static text like a title, label, right, it always used to work for us. But the time you get a dynamic value into the iOS, we face this issue in iOS with React Native, that when this combination we are running, iOS gets confused and it feels, okay, I have this test ID. Android says I have an accessibility label, because in React Native, usually code will be written in one place and we support cross-platform, right? So one code and cross-platform. So iOS always used to get confused and used to say, UI is showing 12, but my accessibility label says number, that means my value is number. So you try identifying the value, it will always say number is getting written in gettext. It will not say 12. So we always face that issue in React Native application. And then we went back and we solutionized it. We said, let's write a code where we say, if I'm Android, use accessibility label. If I'm iOS, use test ID. And that is how we, resolve the locator strategy. So the reason why we actually popped up this example for all of us here is, this looks straightforward for us to just add ID, XPath, but there could be many more aspects when we choose that particular platform, language support. They might have their own things. So based on whatever works best for us, where we say it is a faster, and it is reliable for me. It's not changing. I'm not someone after 10 days I'm going to again change my ID. That is not what we will do, because when it comes to production, continuous deployments are happening. None of the role will get enough time to even go back and update the script. So it should be reliable. It should be faster for us. You run any script on any of the device, it should work for you. So we have to think about everything when we talk about the locator strategy. And that's where we give a huge attention to this topic for us today. So we are going to talk about one of the problem statement for today, where we are going to talk now about the advanced strategies, and Sonali will drive us through about the problem, solution, and what all things work for us and what not. And I think I'll just pass control over to her now. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Devyani. Yeah. So, yeah, just now we saw, Devyani ran one basic test where we try to launch our web app and try to see if, that particular app is launched in specific region. So now let's try to understand one of the problem statement. right now we are into India, and let's say we want to execute our test cases, which are supported across different regions. So let's say we want to support it in Canada, Brazil, Melbourne, Japan. And also another condition is that we want to execute all these scripts simultaneously or across all these regions. Okay, so is it possible, and how we are going to solve this problem statement? So hope you all have understood the problem statement. If any questions, please do let us know. Also, we want to automate this for it. That app could be anything, right? It can be native, web, or hybrid. And consider that you are in your project is into.
Sorry, can you explain the problem statement again?
Okay, yeah, sure. Yes. Okay, I will repeat it again. So consider means testing team is located into India region. Our app needs to be tested that is supported into different regions. Let's take an example of Netflix, which is supported across the regions, and we want to test it if our app is working fine into these different regions or not. So how we can test this one? So there could be different possible ways, but we will discuss it in detail later. But just try to understand problem statement now. So these are the regions, for examples, which we are supporting, and we want to execute our script, okay, in Canada, Brazil, Melbourne, Japan, or different regions. And also that is to simultaneously, parallel execution should happen. So we are going to see how we are going to solve this problem statement in coming minutes. So hope you all got the problem statement. If not, please do let us know. Okay, and also, the condition is that your project is, let's say, into initial phase, and you don't want to go for any cloud solution providers where those are price constraint could be there, and you have limited budget, let's say, and your testing team is also located in one of the specific region, and there is no support available for testing across the regions. So how we go for it then? How we can automate it, or how we can test it? So this is the problem statement. So any one of you like to share, any solution you can think of or have experienced such kind of problem statement earlier? Okay. So now let's try to see solution to this problem statement. So here we are going to use one of the VPN app in mobile. We are going to connect to that specific location or region using that VPN app. And we are going to execute our test. Here we are going to use HMA VPN, which is the licensed version of it. And also what setup we are going to use is Appium. Then right now for the demo purpose, we are using Android real device. But this same solution can be, applicable to iOS as well, real device. So let's get started. Let's understand the test setup. So as here we can see, we are currently, our system is into India region here, and we are going to execute our script into different regions. So here we can see on the mobile device, we have installed a VPN app. We are going to connect to the specific region using that VPN app, and then we are going to execute our test cases. So what does this VPN app do actually is it assigns real IP to that specific region, and it connects to it, and so that it is as good as end user is into that specific region and trying to access our app. So we are just going to mimic that particular situation. So let's go to the demo now. Let's try to see how we are going to execute this one. So right now we can see there are two devices, and we are going to execute script on these two devices. In one device, we will execute script into, let's say, in Germany region, and in another device, we are going to execute into Dubai region. Okay, so let's get started. Let's try to run the script. I will also show you what exactly that HMA VPN app is and how it works. Let this script finish, and I will yeah, let you know how to set it once you download the app. So currently we can see in one device, it will connect to Germany region, and in another device, it will connect to the Dubai region. Currently, HMA VPN app supports multiple regions, so you can search for the location, you can set it over there, and yeah, then you are good to go from there. So currently, in left hand side, you can see app or devices. Let me see which script is running. Okay, currently, let me run the script again. Currently, basic test is running. We'll try to run it again. But yeah, before that, let me try to show you how the app looks like. So this is the HMA VPN app. You can download it from the Google Play Store. And if you want to search for any location, you can do it over here. For example, let's say Dubai. So you can select it from here, and it is quite quick. That location, that region is selected, and then we are good to go. So let me try to run the parallel test. Any questions here? And yeah, this is, as I mentioned, this comes with the license, this specific VPN app. So for demo purpose, we have purchased for 1 month, which costed me around 200 to 300 rupees. So it's not that expensive, and it supports 5 devices parallelly, one license. So you can go for it. Yes, in right hand side, we can see it will look for Dubai region. It will set it, yeah, region is Dubai. And in left side, it has set region to Jammu. Now it will launch our application under test. Here we can see it has launched app in Germany region in left side, and in right side, it will launch it on in Dubai region. And all this is happening is parallelly. So yeah, depending on your setup, let's say you want to execute it across, let's say 5 regions, simultaneously, you can connect those 5 devices, and then we can execute this script. Yeah, here we can see it has launched the app in Dubai region. Yeah, the test has passed successfully. Let's try to open the report as well. Here in one device it's Germany, and in another device it has executed it for Dubai region. So this is how we can execute our test cases parallelly for mobile, using Appium. So hope you all have understood this problem statement and solution for it, how we are going to achieve it. Any questions on this? And also, as Devyani also mentioned, currently we are using 2 Appium servers here, one to connect to the HMA VPN app, and one is to connect to our application under test. Why these 2 server ports and why not one? Because we have observed there are some connection issues when we are going to use same instance of server for launching VPN app and the web app. Just to avoid that, we are using 2 different servers over here. So yeah, this is what we have. Any questions?
We have one question. Is it possible to dockerize the mobile tests?
Yes, yeah, it is, yes.
And another one we have, how do you differentiate logs when you do parallel executions?
Parallel execution, okay. Here we can see we have used TestNG over here, and these are the two different tests we are using parallelly. So there are few settings we have to do, execute parallel test. And okay, let me show you.
Differentiate the logs when you do the parallel execution.
Okay, here. Okay, that can be also done, but right now I think we haven't done that. But yeah, that can be done. That's not a big challenge over here. Yeah, we just have to log it into two different files. That's it.
So Sonali, can you talk about how this can be extendable for other countries via TestNG XML, maybe of parallel? Can you explain us that?
Yes, sure. So in the same, for example, you want to, let's say instead of Germany, we can make it any other region, let's say Indonesia, or now let's say in India, we want to, I mean, any other region, and we can execute it. So let's, if you want to see it one more time, let's try to run it. So right now we have set two different regions. One is Indonesia and one is Germany. So India. So let's see how it goes. Any other questions we do have?
Can we automate fingerprints of Face ID? Perhaps.
Yeah, I think yes, we can. Yes.
You can automate, you can capture the ID of face or fingerprint, whatever you want to do, and then you can automate that.
So see, we can see. Yeah, in one of the device Indonesia region is set, and in another device India region is set. These regions we have passed it from the TestNG XML, and now our application, that website timeanddate.com, will launch into these two regions. Yeah, here we can see it's Indonesia into the left hand side, and in the right side would be India. Yeah, Maharashtra, India.
So this also means that we will keep on adding into the test engine. This can be extendable even for the other.
Yes, yes. So here, let's say you want to execute it for 10 different regions. Just add your just have 10 test cases over here and pass your location in this parameter location to set. Yeah, that's it. And here we can see in TestNG we are passing. We just have to pass UID of the device. That is the unique identifier of the device, port number on which Appium server will launch. Yeah, and that's it. So we are good to go from here. As we saw right now, we can set it for any run it for any region. So let's go back to our presentation. Any questions around this? Okay. Now, why this solution? So as we mentioned you that this HMA VPN supports maximum regions. Almost every region is not there. And let's say if any region is not there, we can request, contact the support team, and we can request, a support for that specific region. This is cost effective. As I mentioned, it costed around 200 to 300 rupees for 1 month. Yeah. Using and let's say if your client or your project is okay to launch your app via VPN, I mean if they are okay to for this particular thing, then we can use this particular solution. And also if you're working on specific domains like OTT domain, or you want to validate payment scenarios across different regions, then this kind of solution is quite helpful, which will provide us quick feedback. You just have to run your tests across the regions, and it will give feedback like what is happening. Is it supporting different regions? Is your application working fine in these regions or not? So we can go for it. Now, what challenges we can see with this setup? So let's say if the region you want to connect to is not supported, it could be one of the challenge. Then also we need to handle VPN failure scenarios into our script. For example, let's say that HMA VPN app is not working, so we need to again make sure that it is always connected. Few settings we have to make over there. And also we cannot execute it on Android, so iOS real simulator. We have to execute it across the real device. So that is one of the limitation of this particular app, we can say. Any other alternate solution? Okay, if we don't want to go for this VPN, then what other solutions we can use to solve the problem statement which we discussed? So we can use Charles proxy to connect to specific location. Then we can go for cloud solution providers, for example, Browser Stack, AWS Device Farm, SourceLab, where you have a lot of options of devices and you can execute your scripts over there. But yes, cost comes into picture here. So that is something we have to take into consideration. And then we can have our team support across different regions, who can test the app in these regions. So these are the alternate solutions. Are there any other solutions you can think of? If yes, yeah, you can let us know as well. Yeah, so that's it. These are the resources used. Any questions and answer. And also we have this particular code into Git. So this is a URL. We'll share this with you. So you can go through it. You can clone the repo, just play around it. Yeah, it will be really fun to see magic happening, we can say. You can connect multiple devices, see, you can test your whatever application you want to test, and it setup is quite easy, not that difficult, I would say. Yeah, you just need, if real devices are not available, you can use the emulators, Android emulators as well. And you can just try to play around it and see, give us any feedback, any questions. If you have, you can contact us on these email IDs. We'll be happy to answer those questions.